What's up, everybody? I'm B-True, and today I want to give you my wizard build after patch 2.0.5. When all the class changes went through yesterday, I gave you guys my Crusader build. Today I want to give you my wizard build. Now, a lot didn't really change for the wizard. A few things to some of the sets, and for the teleport rune, now you can only use a teleport with wormhole. You can only do it at 1 extra time instead of 2, but now it's a 3-second cooldown instead of 1. But the good news is I don't use teleport, and actually a lot of the skills that I've been using were completely unaffected. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you my build here. Now this is my cold wizard build, and this build really focuses around dealing a ton of damage and not really getting hit all that often. So it's a little bit more of like a glass cannon type of build, but you're going to do a ton of damage, you're going to slow people down, and then with one of the legendaries I have, you're going to see you actually freeze people a lot of the time. But so we start off here where our primary is Electrocute. Now I use Electrocute with Surge of Power. This is mainly just to generate arcane power when you need it. I try and use this skill the absolute least as possible, and this is simply just for getting resource back whenever you get low, because from spamming your arcane orb, which you see right here. This is the arcane orb with the frozen orb rune. Most of you guys know what that looks like. Basically just does 400% weapon damage as cold, just shooting shards around everywhere, hitting a bunch of enemies, and it goes through them. So that's my main cold damage dealer right there. I have energy armor with the critical hit chance increase rune, pinpoint barrier. This increases your critical hit chance by 5%. This basically helps you stay alive a little bit easier with the 35% increase to your armor, but I mainly use it just for the extra crit chance for the increase in damage. As well as with Magic Weapon, Force Weapon, this increases your damage by 20%, which is a lot when you start getting into the higher DPSs. So this is, once again, just a simple DPS booster. And then one more is Familiar with the Spark Flint rune. This increases your damage by another 10%, but then it also gives you a little Familiar buddy who attacks for 179% of your weapon damage as fire. He doesn't attack that often, so he doesn't give you a ton of damage output from him alone, but the 10% increased damage that you get is huge. That with the Force Weapon, you got a 30% increase in your damage, plus the 5% critical hit chance. So these are 3 spells that you need to use, just refresh them every now and then, but they give you a ton of damage just for having them there. And then finally, Black Hole with the Absolute Zero rune. Now this Absolute Zero turns the damage into cold, which is good. Obviously we want to stack as much cold damage as possible for this build. But what's really important about this rune is each enemy that is hit increases the damage of your cold spells by 3% for 10 seconds. And depending on, some of these rifts have, huge groups of enemies. So if you time this out right and you use it at the right time, it's a very effective crowd control. It's able to suck enemies away from you. If you ever get into a dangerous spot, you need to run, use this, cast this, it sucks them away, it keeps them still, you're able to get some space between you and them. But 2, it increases the damage you're going to do from your arcane orb by a lot. I've gotten up to, I think, around 33 enemies hit by this, because it gives you a little indicator down here. So that's going to increase my cold damage spells by 99%. Okay? 99%, that is doubling the amount of damage you are doing with your arcane orb. So I've seen crits upwards of around 15 million once I start getting around the 20 and 30 enemy hit by this black hole thing. So this is extremely important, and you definitely want to use this situationally at the right time. So now for the passives here, we got Prodigy. This is just for when you use your Electrocute. This generates 5 arcane power just for using this, as well as the 1 extra arcane power you're going to hit for each enemy that you hit. Glass Cannon, this is just to increase your damage again, another 15%. However, it does decrease your armor resistances by 10%, so you want to make sure you're not in the middle of stuff. You're trying to get hit as least as possible. Cold-Blooded here, what this does is it increases the damage done to enemies who are chilled or frozen by 10%. So when you cast Black Hole, you get everybody there chilled or frozen, and then it increases the amount of damage done by your cold spells like Arcane Orb, plus this 10% extra damage is going to affect all the enemies while you're spamming your Arcane Orb or after they're affected by this. So this is going to increase another 10% to the increase in your damage. And then finally I have Astral Presence. This is just to make up for the extra arcane power that you lose from using energy armor, and it gives you an extra 2 arcane power regeneration per second. And arcane power regeneration is pretty important. As you can see, you can run out of arcane power pretty quickly just from spamming that skill. So one of the important things that I would suggest getting is a source that has critical hits grant arcane power. As you can see there, I re-rolled that on this source. I actually got a extremely good roll. So I was able to kind of get a luxury re-roll here where I took the critical hits, grant the extra 4 arcane power. So whenever you're getting critical hits, you're getting arcane power back. It helps to slow the rate at which you lose arcane power. And then as you can also see here, this happens to help out a lot because electrocute can chain back to enemies that have already been hit. So your electrocute is constantly jumping around, generating a ton of arcane power for you. I have a Thunder Fury there. Obviously, that's just a really good weapon. This is the legendary right here, Frostburn, that really pulls this build together. First, it increases your cold skill damage. That 13% there is, pretty good. But then the legendary effect, your chill effects have a 44% chance to freeze instead of slow. So now every time you are chilling enemies, you have a 44% chance, instead of slowing them, to actually freeze them. Now this is pretty important because there's another legendary that I haven't been able to find yet that says once an enemy is frozen, your next attack has a chance to instantly kill them, right? So it shatters them. Now this obviously only happens against lesser enemies. You're not going to be able to do this against elites, but with that this extra freeze chance, with that extra frozen shatter chance, you can very easily destroy a ton of enemies quickly if you're able to get that. So I'm looking for that legendary right now. Haven't been able to find it, but that's something that I am looking forward to. As you can see here, I got 766,000 damage without any of the skills that I have, so I'm going to just put those on real quick. And you can see how that jumps up tremendously with the 3 first skills that we have there. So now I got 1 million DPS, and that doesn't take into account the glass cannon, the cold-blooded, the extra damage you're going to get from absolute zero. So you have a ton of hidden DPS with this build. As far as Paragon stats go, I don't have anything with movement speed, so once again I put everything into movement speed. Next I'm probably going to start putting it into arcane power so I'm able to spam my arcane orb a little bit quicker. I have everything in crit hit damage because I already have like a 55% crit hit chance, so I want to stack as much crit hit damage as possible. I have all of my points in life regeneration because I very rarely get hit, so when I do, I want to be able to heal the life back as fast as possible. So between life regeneration and my life on hit, I'm able to get a lot of my life back very quickly. And like I said, I'm very rarely getting hit because when I cast Black Hole, that sucks enemies into it and keeps them away from them, allows me to get some distance from them, go back, freeze them, stun them, and do what I want. So this is a very glass cannon-y build, focuses a lot on the cold skills and obviously the synergy between Black Hole, Absolute Zero, and the Arcane Orb. And this works really well for me. These are my stats. If you guys want to check them out, pause the video if you want. Check those out for a little bit. If you guys found this video helpful and you like this build, please give the video a like. I encourage you guys to try this out. Please give me a comment below. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know what you guys would change or what build you guys are running. I like to hear from you guys a lot, and I like making these videos for you and hearing from you guys and knowing you guys are enjoying them. So please leave a comment down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all of my Reaper Souls videos that are going to come in the future, including some more builds and then obviously some changes that are upcoming with the game. And guys, I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you in the next video.